We're going live on StreamYard to Instagram. That's you guys, as well as Facebook and YouTube, which is you guys over here. Sadly, there's not one system that does all three systems because Instagram is funny like that. So I've got you Instagram followers on my phone and you guys on the YouTube and the Facebook group over on my laptop here. So hello and welcome. Hello, Lux Fleury. I'm just going to give you a quick wave. Lovely, lovely. Do drop me a comment when, or a wave, or an emoji, or something when you guys, actually join. It would be lovely to see you, and it also lets me know that the comments are working. And the more you interact, and the more you press like or love or comment or anything like that, the more these social media tells other people that we have gone live, because it says, hey, this is an interesting live, let's push it out to more people. So yeah, just before I start talking about this week's topic, which is quite an interesting one, I think, it's well, I'll get to that in a minute, but I really want to chat, just remind you. Oh, morning, Viv. Hi. What, doing a wedding as I watch? Love it. That's dedication for you. Viv, I'm going live to you guys and on Instagram over here at the same time, so it's lovely to see you. Hello, Megan. Hello over on Instagram. Hello, Viv, and a couple of people who've joined on Facebook so far. It's brilliant. So just before I start talking about this week's topic, which is kind of should you turn away inquiries if that's not your style? Just want to remind you quickly, as you can probably see, you guys watching on Facebook can see on here, membership is now open. There's a bit of a flash sale on there, 2 weeks free. So do let me know, let me know if you need the details for that, and I will get those over to you. So yeah, Flower Up membership is now open. How are you guys? How are you all doing? How it seems like ages since I've last spoke to you, because I've had a bit of a break. Us florists need a break. Goodness knows how I managed to do that during June, but we did that nevertheless. So yeah, just let me know how you guys are doing. I know Viv's doing a wedding. Megan says hi. That's lovely. So yeah, is there anything else I need to update you on before I start? I don't think there is. If there is, I will come to it at the end. That's brilliant. I'm doing the live in my bedroom today because hopefully you can't hear my budgies. Let me know if you can hear my budgies. They're next door. But the hubby's working downstairs. I'm working upstairs, and I don't think there's anywhere in the house that you can't hear the budgies. But let me know if you can. Just drop me a thumbs up or something if you can still hear them in the background. It's just as well they're cute, because they are noisy little so-and-sos. So let's get cracking. Let's maybe just get cracking. I think there's a few people joining us now over on both the platforms, so that's great. Oh, hang on. I'll just adjust my phone. I've just knocked my phone over there, so bear with me. That's no good. Instagram followers don't want to be watching the ceiling. Brilliant. Okay. So welcome to today's session. Today's topic is quite an interesting one, I think. This all came about because of a question that one of my group members asked me over on the Worldwide Wedding Florist community group. Samara asked the other day, just for some general opinions on the group, and it's great that we have such a supportive community to kind of come in on that. She said, have you ever turned away an inquiry because it didn't fit your style of work? She just to give a bit of background to this, she posted a picture of a really sort of nice long trailing Phalaenopsis white orchid bouquet, and a bride had sent her that as inspiration, as they do. And they basically had said, that they'd seen her online, and that they'd kind of, sent her this picture. Can you do this? That sort of thing. We've all been there. We all get DMs with inspiration pictures on and things like that. Let me know if that resonates with you if you're watching us live today. But I thought that was a really interesting topic, and this is why I'm doing the live today, because first of all, to answer Samara's question a bit more thoroughly, but also because I think we could all learn from it and all benefit from it. Because I think in this day and age of Pinterest and online searches, Google, social media, things like that, there are images everywhere, and it can be a bit of a double-edged sword. It can be useful in some ways. It can be useful to get a visual on what they're like. I couldn't do my job without seeing inspiration images, for example. And if a bride comes to me and says they want a mauve colored flower, or a coral colored flower, that's one of those colors that everybody sort of has a different version of in their head. So I need to see an inspiration picture to see kind of what they're thinking of. And or if they say wild flowers, and often what they mean is just something with a slight texture to it, or things like that. So we need these inspiration pictures to be sent to us to kind of fully get the vision across from the couple who are inquiring. But sometimes, in Samara's situation, the couples just aren't educated enough, that they don't know that, this is probably the first time they've planned a wedding, and they don't know that they aren't educated. They send us pictures of things that are kind of unachievable for whatever reason. Maybe it's silk. In Samara's case, it was a silk bouquet, or maybe it's availability, or something like that. Or maybe, again, in Samara's case, they are they've looked around for florists, they've liked her work, but sent her a completely different picture than her style of work. Because they just think, oh, that's nice flowers, she's a good florist, let's send her this picture. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but we can use it to our advantage, I think. And there's a couple of different ways this can go, really. She's got the choice here. Well, could she take on this work, or does she, at this point, decline before she's spent too much time on it, before she's gone and had a consultation with the couple, or provided quotes or anything like that? At this point, she could just say, no thanks, it's not my jam. You could maybe even recommend somewhere else. There's no right or wrong answer to this. Either is absolutely fine. I am all in favor of using our online presence. This is kind of, a big basis of what I teach to you guys. Use your online presence to kind of filter out people who aren't quite right for you, even though they might be very nice people. They're just not your thing. Filter them out, and use online tools, and such as emails, and maybe florist software, or whatever it is you use, to make sure you're not spending too much time on it at these beginning stages. For example, because of like Pinterest and emails, Samara's found out at this stage, like, this client, it perhaps isn't quite right for her, and she can make a decision on whether or not to take this booking or take it further at all with this client. So I would be interested to know, like, what you would do. Please feel free to drop me a DM or an email, and let me know how you would handle this. But like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. We have our brand to protect as well. So our brand is quite important to us. So, some florists purely only do work which is kind of really nice, white, pretty lights and blushes, and, light and airy kind of colors. Others are very colorful. Maybe they only do wildflowers or eco flowers or things like that. And we do have to protect our brand and be careful what we put out there online. For example, myself, and I've mentioned this before, but I wouldn't, budget brides aren't my clients. They're not my ideal clients. It doesn't work. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I therefore wouldn't post things online that would attract that sort of person. So I wouldn't post pictures of a small mason jar with some hessian or burlap, as they say in the US, around it, with some gypsophila in it, or something like that, because that's kind of very, it's the sort of thing that low budget couples want. And, that's fine for them to want that, absolutely, but it's not my ideal client. So therefore, I don't put that out there on my online presence. So in Samara's case, and, many other cases, I've had this myself before as well. I don't know what makes people look at that, at my work, or her work, and say, she would be perfect to create this bouquet that I've got an inspiration picture of. It's I don't know what goes through their minds, but maybe it's just, oh, she's a good florist, I'll contact her. And they don't understand about brands and about styles and creativity, and that's fine. It's our job to educate them. but you can either choose to take that job on or not. Think about things like, does it suit your brand? Is it worth your while? You know, I've done work, for example, that isn't my style, because it was a great wedding to work on, and I was happy to do it. But I just didn't post about it online, really. I had a wedding at the beginning of the year, for example, and they were a lovely couple, absolutely lovely couple, and it was a venue that was like literally 2 minutes from my workshop, and it was in January, so there's not much kind of other business coming on in January, so it was a no-brainer for me. They were lovely people. I took the job on, and it was, it wasn't just a bouquet, so it was worth my while doing. There was like 10 centerpieces, but the centerpieces were all, they were avid skiers, so they were, I did them all in ski boots, and there was basically, just so if you can imagine, this was like a ski boot with flowers coming out of the top of it, and whilst I loved doing it for the couple, and they were absolutely amazing, lovely couple, it wasn't my normal style, so I didn't really post a lot of pictures of that online, because there is that brand to protect, and when you're posting things that are not on brand, um, it can damage your business more than you think. I think, it confuses people. I, for example, posted some pictures of a beautiful wedding I did recently, which was very, very colourful. So all oranges, pinks, blues, purples, all sorts of things, and it was absolutely beautiful. Isle meadows, arches, stunning. But I lost a few followers online because they just it wasn't my normal thing. That people see me do a lot of, the whites and the blushes and things like that, and the occasional autumnal colourful wedding. But this was a bit different. So I did lose a few people, and I think it was because of that. However, I did gain a few lovely customers who inquired with me. So I actually got physical inquiries, even though I lost followers. So in the case of Samara, she could, and if you've ever had this, those who are listening today, if you've ever had this, you can choose whether or not to take that booking on. She could take that booking if she could maybe even just have that conversation with them, and have a consultation, and talk about ideas and things like that, and see if it is worth her while to do this wedding. If it's not, then at that stage there's no love lost. You can just say, no thanks, I don't think it's for me, kind of thing, or recommend another florist, perhaps. You could say, oh, I recommend such and such a florist, and this is absolutely ideal for them. I think they'll do a much better job of it for you. Thanks, but no thanks, kind of thing. So you can choose to do that and decline in a nice way, of course, or you could choose to take that on and just not post online about it. There might be other ways that it's worth your while. Think about why you're declining it as well. If it's just a case of the fact that it's out of your comfort zone, if it's a design that you haven't made before and it's out of your comfort zone, is that a reason to decline it? Because often weddings like that are fantastic for your portfolio. It's just you that's holding yourself back, and you sort of being worried about, oh, I've never made this before, this looks really difficult, can I do it? And yet you're sort of declining for that reason. So maybe doing a wedding like that would actually do you good, make you better at what you do, and push you out of your comfort zone. Because I've always said, great things occur when you are taken out of your comfort zone. That said, if it's just simply not your thing, then just don't take it on. That's fine to not take weddings on. It's absolutely fine. You get to decide. This is what I love about being self-employed. You get to decide what you do. You get to make the rules. You get to decide what your business is like. You get to decide what happens, what the rules are, and all the processes, and what your business looks like. And I love that about being self-employed. in terms of weddings, you get to decide what your process is, and how, what sort of couples you take on board. Um, you are under no obligation to take on every wedding that comes your way, or every person. So yes, you could absolutely take that wedding on. It might be that that wedding, for in Samara's case, was particularly good. Um, and maybe maybe it would be great for the portfolio, or maybe it's at a venue nearby, or maybe they're actually wanting a lot of centerpieces and stuff like that as well. So it might be a really good job for her. Um, there might be loads of ways, but you don't know till you've had that consultation with someone. And I do all my consultations over Zoom or phone for initial ones anyway, so that I'm not making lots of trips to the workshop or cafes or anything like that to meet with people. So it's not too much time out of my day. So yeah, you can take those on or not. She could choose to take it on and post about it, or take it on and just not post about it. Maybe they're lovely people in every other way, and it's a good value order that she'd love to take on. Or maybe it's just not worth a while. Maybe it's just a bouquet. Maybe she will spend more of her time worrying about this wedding coming up, and how she's going to design it, and all that sort of thing. And she has to buy a lot of flowers, and eventually, those are the kind of weddings that you end up regretting taking on, because you're sort of thinking, you spend too much time worrying, and you're not getting paid for that worry time, basically. And when it's finished and over with, you're thinking, what, I wish I just never said yes in the first place. So you get to decide what happens in your business. And I think Samara asked a very valid question. Can you, has she the specific question she asked was, has anyone ever taken, has anyone ever knocked back work, basically, because it's not your style? And it's just, I think it's a very valid question, a very interesting one. And the answer is that you get to decide. If you really, really, really don't want to do it, that's fine. If you do want to do it, you can either choose to do it and post about it, or do it and not post about it. There are weddings, let's face it, that we take on that are literally just because we need to keep the lights on, we need to pay our bills and feed our families and things like that. Or in my case, budgies. I don't have kids or anything, but there's all sorts of, we need to take them, get the money in through the door, and there are those weddings that just simply pay the bills, and that is absolutely fine too. But does it mean that we have to splash them all over our social media? Not necessarily. Now, I'm always saying that everything is a content creation opportunity. You guys will have heard me say this before, and I will shout it from the rooftops till the cows come home. It's true, but does it mean that you need to post a wedding like this that's not your style, that might do damage to your brand? Not necessarily, but you could be, while you're making that wedding, taking lots of photographs and videos of, maybe individual flowers, or taking a selfie of you outside of the venue, or, there's so many content creation opportunities there, even though you might not choose to post about the final design. Because if you're posting things that out there that you don't want to attract more of, in this case, it was a really big white phalaenopsis orchid bouquet. And you don't want that sort of back. If you're posting that out there, then you're going to get that sort of stuff back. You're going to get people who look at it and sort of say, that was lovely. I love what you posted the other day. I want that too. So if you don't want that, don't post it. But if you want the job, if you want the money, and you think they're lovely people to work with, they're your kind of people, then I say go for it. But at the end of the day, it's our personal choices as business owners. And I think that's the wonderful thing about being self-employed, really. So yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about today. I hope you have, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you can resonate with it. Really, do let me know if that has resonated in any particular way at all. You can drop reviews or comments, or depending on which platform you're watching, listening on. So let me know if that resonates. And, I think it is an interesting topic. What we put out there online is what we attract back. So you don't have to post every single design that you've made, or, everything that, think of your brand and think of the business that you want to run, essentially. Okay. So I hope that's been great for you, and flower on.